check do our translation have started. And today we would talk about geometric modeling, because this channel not only about CAE, computer aided engineering, and not about only theory, so we would talk about practice, and in most cases practice starts with geometric modeling or geometric simplification. There are a couple videos about geometric simplification for real project on a channel. Today we would start with a simple model from SolidWorks ModelMania. It's very interesting and very cool tasks for check your skills. In most cases you need to do this with big limitation of time. You must do this project as fast as you can, but we will do it more simple manner, and it will be something more slowly, with explanation what we do and so on. So I show creating of those model in different software which I have, and today we would start from SolidWorks and from ModelMania 2000. Here we have swing arm, which we need to model. It present with two different phases. On phase 1 we need to create those geometry. All dimensions are in inches, and in second we need to change some dimensions. For example, here we see 4.5 and here was 3.35. This dimension 2.7 and this dimension 3.4. So we need to do those geometry, change some additional dimensions, and obtain those type of model. You can download this drawing from original SolidWorks blog. So something like that. Let's start. Just a moment, I add picture to the corner. You can see what I am doing, and now I place drawing here, and that's our SolidWorks that we use to create model. So it's SolidWorks 2020, it's not the latest, and it's not manner, because those task was created for SolidWorks World 2000, and basic principle of geometry creation is the same. So we start with the part. Okay, if you have a question, please write question, but I will see it later and try to answer later. Okay, SolidWorks. Here we have SolidWorks. This is our 3D space where we interact with our model, with our sketch, and so on. This is our ribbon, which contain the most popular tools for creating geometry, for manipulating with geometry, for do some evolutions and so on. And also we can add additional toolbox panel here and here. It's like in old time. It's like old school, something like that. SolidWorks was obtained with distributor of SolidWorks, Dassault System SolidWorks in Ukraine, company which called Softico, and reseller is Soft Engineering. So we need to create something, and the most simple way is to choose any kind of plane. We can choose not only plane as we see on the our drawing, but we can choose any kind of plane and use it. Okay, I will try to create geometry like it shown. So we create a sketch. Let's use ribbon, create sketch. We selected plane, it creates sketch on this plane. Now we need to create a circle of our tube, of our swing arm. It have diameter about 2 and 7 inches, but our geometric dimensions are in millimeters, so we need to change our dimensions. Okay, tools, options, document properties, and dimensions. Nope, sorry. Units. Okay, units, we need to EPS, so it's in inch. Now we have changed dimension from 100 of millimeters to the 4.6 inches. We need a size about 2.7. We need to extrude it on a height of 3 and 35, something like that. Also, we can create a round here. We can create it with a lot of different manner, but we would say something like that. 2.7 divided by 2. And we create those round parts of our object. Okay, now we need to create additional object. Front plane, bam, and we need to select this plane, which is perpendicular to our object, create new sketch, and here we can create our additional object. Planar. Okay, now we need to create something like maybe we would use simple line. Okay, we create line and we convert this line to axisymmetric, to the construction for creating symmetry. That's the first thing that we do. Also, we select this line and we have possibility to do it symmetrical. Sorry, I forgot where is it, but we would find. Just a moment. tools. I work with SolidWorks for long, so sorry. I need some time to return my skills. Nope. Sketch tool. Mirror entities. This is one. We need to select line. We need to right mouse button place and mirror entities. Oh no, it's mirroring, not dynamic mirroring, it's simple mirroring. Okay. Just a moment. If we don't know where it is, let's try dynamic mirror entities. Okay, what should I do? This place where we have the search option, and I try to type dynamic mirror entities. I place here and it selects those tools even if it hide here. So after I choose this one, I choose this line, and here we have, as you see, the symbol of dynamic mirroring. So something like that. Okay. We need to create object like this, and it add additional objects. We choose these two lines and choose equal, and that's very good. Okay, now we need to create center line here. It have a problem for creating symmetric object. Just a moment. Why do we don't want to create circle? The circle also can't be automatically copy with symmetry line, because it's also symmetrical. So something like that. And we have additionally something like that object, creating one on one side and on second side. Okay, we say that those two circles are equal. And now let's try to add dimension. We need to do those dumping because we have a very strange dimension on our sketch, and it's more simple way to create something like that for obtaining all results. Okay, we have this one. We have circle diameter, and we need to change it to radius. Just a moment. Oops, I don't see. This is converts diameter to radius, and now we add a size 0.61. Okay. And it has some problem. We would fix it. We select those circle and those line and say that both of them must be tangent. Okay. And now we need to create a radii for this one. We create diameter. Now we select leaders and convert it to radius. And now we type 0.38. Okay, we create those objects, and for now we must add only one additional relation. We need to say that this circle touch this point. So we select both of them and say coincident. Okay, now we have fully constrained sketch. And we have possibilities to create geometry. We can create geometry by different ways. For example, we can select create geometry and select contour that we want to use. For example, something like that. Additionally, we can do some changes. We can do some changes here in this model. We can choose our trim tool and trim all objects that we don't need. There are different tool variants. For example, now we draw line with mouse and it changed. Additionally, we can select, for example, trim to closest, and in this way we can delete it in more simple way. There are some problems because everything that we create previously have some problem. They have different relations, and after we delete all this geometry object, we have problem because our geometry that was dependent and fully constrained now are unconstrained and doesn't have enough of dimensions and constraints. So we need to do something to change it. We can do it by dragging different objects and understanding what type of problem we have. For example, here we see that here tangency is work, but we have problem with tangency here. So we have delete symmetrical constraint, auto-symmetrical constraint, and we can change it by selecting different objects, selecting certain line, and say that both of them symmetrical. And we can do something here. So symmetrical. As you see, it's much better. So we have some problem, but it's much better. We can select those three lines with those axes, say symmetrical, and we obtain fully constrained sketch. And those sketch doesn't have any profile. It contains only one profile. It doesn't have a lot of profiles. So we can do something like that. 2.75. Okay, we created. Now we need to create holes. We create sketch. Oops, not edit. Create, sorry. We can add a circle. Here we place mouse to our circle edge, and it shows center. And we can select it for creating those objects. Okay, we create this one. We create a dimension. Dimension must be 0.75, and we can cut it. And we can cut it in different way. So we change blind to up to surface and select those plane as place to stop. It would be explain it later. Okay, this one created, and we need to create two additional holes on the center of this circle and on the center of this circle. Both circles must be equal ready. Yep, we can create two dimensions, but much better way to create minimum number of dimensions. So 0.35 or 38, sorry. And we can see on our sketch size of this hole. Okay, let's do something like 1 inch and change it if it be useful later. Okay, we create 1 inch. Now we must to create additional tube. It have two different angles, so we need to create a plane. We create an axis. now we use those axes and right plane to create new plane. And we need to say angle 45 degree, flip offset, okay, something like that. And now we must create additional sketch. Please place it normal. Also, it would be more comfortable to work with this direction. We can change direction by shift and up, left, down arrows on a keyboard, or we can select something like this. Okay, we have line, we have angle from this line to this line, and it's 6 degree. Also we have distance from this point to this plane. It must be 235. But we have a problem because we don't know those distance. It doesn't show on our sketches. So let's choose something 2.5, for example, something like that. Okay, we create this object, and we can create a round object here in this sketch, and we can create additional plane and create round sketch and extrude. Let's revolve. Select those change, click edit, we return to the sketch, we convert those sketch, we don't need to convert, sorry, we add some object, and maybe we need center line. Okay, and we need to say dimension from this to this. I try to create with center line, but can't. Okay, we will show this feature later. 0.6. We create revolve. We add those materials. Okay. Also, we would draw hole here. It would be a round hole. Sorry, sometimes it's glitch. it have 0.82 extruded cut, and we would cut to this vertex. Okay, we create hole. It doesn't look as full hole, but we would see later why do we do that way. And we need to copy those objects. Okay, we create a circular pattern with those axes. We would try to copy features, those feature, and those feature. And we want to copy only to 45 degrees angle, and must be only 2 copy. Okay, we create those objects. Now we need to create a rib here and create full hole here. So we create one circle. We create dimension like 3.75. Okay, and we do extrude, and we change plane from what we create. We say that we need 0.25 quarter-inch of offset. We need to do offset in other direction, and we need to do this extrude in other direction, and it would be also a quarter-inch. Okay, and after that we can create a hole here. So what we need to do, it's to choose, for example, this plane, select it. We would create a silhouette entities. Oops, not those silhouettes, sorry. Intersection curve. With those and those object. Okay, and all this object would be a construction. We doesn't need it. And now we would create something here. Select those two curves and say that we need to create offset about quarter-inch. Okay, change position of this point, select those 2 points and say merge. Additionally, do the same with those 2 points, merge, and we can delete this one and create hole by revolve, we would use this line and select full hole, something like that. The only one problem that we see here, it's this object. As we see in our drawing, we doesn't have those two things, and it appears in reason how we create our model, but we can change it with different way. We can delete it. Let's try. Select those face, those and those, and insert face, delete. And as you see here, we delete those parts. And also we can change our operations, or we can add additional operation. For example, we create sketch with those circle and extruded cut, and select, for example, up to surface, which one, for example, this one. Okay. In different situation, it can be helpful different ways of solving those problems. So something like that. And the last one that we need to do is create a rounds. All rounds must be .188. Also, we can select different edges to create loops of our rounding. But sometimes we need to create this rounds step by step, and reasons that we have a problem. So now we have fully created model. We spent about 40 minutes. Morning, Leonid. And we can select the stage number 2. I would change picture in a corner, and we apply some changes. So what we need to change? We need to change height of this model. It can be changed here, 4.5. Okay, some features are done. Then we need to change those objects, and we need to have 3.5 here, and we must change those dimensions, 3.5 4. Okay, let's see. And we have a problem. Let's take a look. What problem do we have? Ouch, I see. Sorry. Yep. We have some problem with those fillet, because those fillet also must be 3.4 divided by 2. Okay, we create all things, and we have problem only with deleting objects here, but as you see, we doesn't have any additional geometry here, so we doesn't need delete anything here. So we can suppress to those feature, and we have problem with fillets. And the problem we have in reason that we change geometry, and we have those places that change topologically. So we need to add something or change fillets by hand. Automatically it not worked. Let's try by our hand. Okay, let's round here, let's round here, okay. We can do it with fillet expert and so on, but I will do it in an old day manner. The one fillet, second fillet, like in old good day in early 2000. Now we need to create round here and here. Sorry, only here, and create around here. So as you see, we recreate all rounds. We have good geometry and something like that. And the last thing that we need to do is to check our mass and volume. Model doesn't have, drawing doesn't have information about materials. Let's apply something, and for example plain carbon steel or 1060 alloy aluminum. Let's evaluate mass properties. It's about 1.5, 1.5 pound. Okay, and now we add additional things that not shown on a basic task. It would be a solution. So we choose SolidWorks add-in, we choose open SolidWorks simulation. It creates tab simulation. We create new study, static analysis. In reasons that here we have holes for connected to some places, we would create a fixation here, fixed geometry, and we add some pressure, where it is, pressure, sorry, on all internal surfaces. And we add it in PSI, and for example 20 PSI. Okay, and let's create mesh. Let's try with default settings. We have mesh. This mesh is not very bad, so we can use it. Additionally, we must see that we use a second order element, so it's not bad mesh. And run the study. We can see a stress distribution, deformation and displacement distribution. We can see it in different ways. So something like that. And for this model 20 psi, it's not very big pressure. We can change it in a five time to get yield strength, something like that. And it would be a local stress here and here, so maybe for some reason we can do not 100 psi, but even more. For example, up to 150 psi. But this term we need to check with additional nonlinear checking of this solution. Okay, something like that. We create our model, we change it, we check our mass, and we check our strength. Thank you, and see you later.